Back in the saddle again, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Peter Glidden here, broadcasting live once again. Back from the Montana road trip, we did Kalispell, we did Missoula, we did Helena, and we did Bozeman 4 nights in a row last week. Talked to about 100 people each night. Sold a ton of health recovery products and got a ton of people onto the right road to health recovery through science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. This ain't your grandfather's vitamins and minerals, folks. This is new-fashioned, science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition delivered by licensed naturopathic physicians. And when you give the body the raw materials that it needs to support its health, guess what happens? The body fixes itself most of the time. This is our message. And the thing that startles me, if you've been doing this for a long time, you kind of become, desensitized to stuff that's going on in the world because you see it all the time. So, when I'm not on the road, I am inclined to kind of lose my focus a little bit, but not lose my focus, but really I get out of touch with the massive amount of human suffering that exists in the world. Because I've been doing this for 24 years, it's all old news to me. But for everybody in the listening audience, it's new news. For everybody that hasn't heard our message, which is 99.99% of the American population, this is a new message. And when I give lectures, live lectures, like we did in Montana all last week, it is remarkable to me that there are so many people in the audience, and therefore in the community, and therefore in the county, and therefore in the state, and therefore in the entire country, and therefore in the entire world, who are sick and suffering for no good reason. Look, if you're overweight, it's not your fault. If you're struggling with weight, it's not your fault. It's your doctor's fault. If you're struggling with arthritis, with high blood pressure, with type 2 diabetes, with fibromyalgia, with infertility, with giving birth to kids who are autistic or who have birth defects, it's not your fault. It's your doctor's fault, your pediatrician's fault. It's the fault of the healthcare community. If you're suffering with cancer, it's not your fault. It's the healthcare community's fault, because it is their job to support your health. It is their job. Aren't they supposed to be practicing healthcare? Aren't they? Isn't that, if you're in Canada, for goodness sake, they take money out of your paycheck every week, every 2 weeks, every month, whatever it is. Before you even get it, they take it. And what does that give you access to? It gives you access to MD-directed medicine in the United States. If you work for a company and, they buy your health care, they buy your health insurance, they take a certain amount out of your paycheck whenever you get paid. And if you don't work for a company, if you're self-employed, they have convinced you that you need to buy medical insurance, and so you do. And what does your medical insurance give you access to? Does it give you access to chiropractic? A little bit, maybe. Does it give you access to naturopathic? Definitely not. Does it give you access to acupuncture or homeopathy or vitamins and minerals? Are your nutritional supplements paid for? No. Your drugs are. It's interesting, don't you think, that now here in the United States, because of Obama's health care plan, it's going to be mandatory, just like it is in Canada, for everybody in the United States to gain access to purchase health insurance, which gives them access only to drugs and surgery, only to MD-directed medicine. And this is a problem, because the reason that we have a health care crisis here, the reason that obesity is increasing, skyrocketing, the reason that life expectancy is getting less, the reason that arthritis and Alzheimer's and autism and type 2 diabetes are skyrocketing is not because of a bad gene pool. It's certainly not because of the weather, and it has nothing to do with old Soviet Union thought control machines that everybody thought was around in the 60s. Remember that? Ha! It's got nothing to do with any of that nonsense. The only reason that you get sick is because your body has run out of the stuff it needs to maintain its health, and then you are sick and you're in trouble, you're in pain, you're suffering. What the heck? Something's got to be done. So what do? You do the only thing that you know to do. You do the only thing that your health insurance pays for. You go to see the MD. The problem with this scenario is that your MD is not trained in healthcare. I don't care what country you live in. I don't care if it's Canada, the United States, Morocco, Spain, France, Greece, doesn't matter. MDs, wherever they are in the world, are a member of a scientific club, a scientific community. And the science behind MD-directed medicine argues that the human body is a machine made of parts. There is no inherent soul force. There is no inherent unseen vital force that directs all of the millions of biochemical activities that happen in the body all the time. That just all happens by luck or by some evolutionary fiat or by some happenstance of biochemistry. MDs have never been able to explain away how the autonomic nervous system works, and so because they can't explain it, they disregard it. It's very convenient. MDs, because of their training, because of their philosophical orientation, what they are trained is that the body is a machine made of parts, and it's not smart enough to fix itself. And that's what communism argues. That citizens are not smart enough to take care of themselves. So they have to be dictated. The terms of their life must be dictated by the state. That's how it is in a communist regime. Everything is dictated by the state. What you read, what you eat, how long you work, how much you're paid, everything is dictated by the state, right? Because the theory is that the people aren't smart enough to take care of themselves. Well, that's exactly the theory, the philosophy of healing that MDs are taught. The human body is this random amalgamation of biochemicals that happened by some evolutionary stroke of luck in some primordial swamp. And once you're sick, you're screwed. Your body has no inherent healing capacity. Your only option, once you are sick and suffering with arthritis, with high blood pressure, with obesity, with eczema, with psoriasis, with infertility, with asthma, with congestive heart failure, with fibromyalgia, with kidney disease, with liver disease, with gallbladder disease, whatever it is that you've got, once you've got it, your body is incapable of fixing it. So, your only option is to march in with man-made, synthetic, for-profit pharmaceutical agents, the intention of which is to take control of your metabolism and give it to the drug. Your body isn't smart enough to sort it all out, so you have to rely on Pfizer Pharmaceutical. You have to rely on Merck. You have to rely on the drug company to deliver you a man-made synthetic medicine which overpowers and orchestrates all of the metabolic functions in the human body. Now, who are you going to trust? Are you going to trust God or are you going to trust man? Right? You know, but back in the day when everybody was smoking marijuana, in the 60s here in the United States, that was the line, right? Who are you going to trust? Man makes alcohol and God makes marijuana. Who are you going to trust? Well, it's the same with drugs. Who are you going to trust? You going to trust man? You going to trust the pharmaceutical companies? Or are you going to trust God? Well, if you're smart, you would trust God. Because our supposition, the holistic supposition, the naturopathic observation, quite frankly, is that the human body has the ability to fix itself. Your body knows how to fix itself, and your body wants to fix itself. And most of the time, you know, trauma and a handful of infectious diseases notwithstanding, most of the time, the only thing necessary that your body needs in order to fix itself is raw materials. So you run out of calcium, you get osteoporosis, you get vertigo, you get ringing in the ears, you get chronic leg cramps, you get bad menstrual cramps, you get low back pain, chronic low back pain, you get arthritis, you get rheumatoid arthritis, you get something. Well, why do you have these things? Because you have a bad gene? No, you have a bad doctor. Your body's run out of calcium and magnesium and a whole bunch of other nutrients that it needs in order to make your muscles and your bones and your joints and your liver and your kidneys and everything else healthy and happy. It's that simple. But your MD and their tens of thousands of colleagues are trained that this is not so. They're actually trained under the communist. It's a communistic medical science. It is. Because the body isn't smart enough to take care of its own affairs. The body doesn't have the wherewithal to fix itself. The body doesn't even know how to fix itself. And your only solution is to dump drugs into the body that override and control the innate metabolism of the human body. Leave it to the doctor, leave it to the drug company, because it's your only choice. So you manage symptoms. You manage your arthritis until it gets so bad that you need your knee cut out. Even though Harvard University published a study about 6 years ago that proved knee replacement surgery only works for about 3-4 years, it's ineffective. It's a stopgap at best. But orthopedic surgeons don't want to hear that. You know, there's a disconnect in the scientific community because medical doctors especially are loath to pay any attention to new research that goes against what they were taught. And so science progresses one funeral at a time. Most of the time it's your funeral. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why. Because your medical doctor is not trained in healthcare, because they are communistic in their philosophy, because they're trained to manage symptoms with drugs, it is our advice, my advice, that the best possible thing you can do to help your body enjoy health is to fire your MD. Fire your MD now. Fire your MD now. Visit my website, fireyourmdnow.com. Sign up for my online health recovery program, $17 a month. Sign up for my newsletter. It's free. Educate yourself about science-based, clinically verified alternatives to drugs and surgery, stuff that you can start to apply right now today in order to support and promote the ability of your body to fix itself and to recover its health. Like the fella said, folks, you don't know what you don't know. And when it comes to health, the stuff you didn't know will heal you or kill you. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health, bringing you another live episode of Fire Your MD Now. Please visit the website of the same name, fireyourmdnow.com. If you'd like to call in and talk to me today or any day that we're doing a live show, 866-582-9933. That's 866-582-9933. And if you're listening to the podcast or you would like a number to call to talk to a live, living, breathing human being to get questions answered about the health opportunity, the business opportunity, or any of the stuff that we talk about here, that number, 855-347-3696, the podcast number. To talk to a live human being, 855-347-3696. We're going to go right to the phones now. Looks like James is up first. Welcome aboard, James. You are live.
Yes.
Hey, James, you're on the air. How can I help?
I'm having a prostate problem.
Yeah, what's the problem?
The prostate swelled, BPH, so bad that it actually cut my urine flow off to where my bladder backed up into my kidneys.
Yeah, ouch.
And caused me a lot of pain. I actually talked to you 2 weeks ago about the pain in my belly. Well, that was what was causing the pain.
Okay, so what did they do?
Well, basically they catheterized me and told me that I need to have TURP surgery.
Yeah, okay. So, you may and you may not. But now that we know what the problem is, right, that it's a prostate swelling problem, we can pursue a therapy to try to get to the root cause and support and promote the health of your prostate and your bladder and your kidneys, rather than just go in like gangbusters and, slice and dice, which is what they're going to do. Now, the reason that they recommended slicing and dicing is because that's all that they know. That's all that they're trained in. That's what they do, so that's what they're going to advise you to do, because obviously there's a problem, right? Now, something needs to be done, because if the prostate, by the way, folks, the prostate is a gland in men if you're sitting on a bicycle the part of your body that's on the bicycle seat is directly below your prostate gland, or your prostate gland is directly above it inside your body. It's a gland, I don't know, about the size of an avocado pit, more or less, maybe a little bit bigger, that the tube from your bladder that goes out through the penis, and that's what pee comes out. It's called the urethra. The urethra goes right through the middle of the prostate. And if the prostate gland is swollen, it clamps down on the urethra, and that makes your urine back up into the bladder, and then it'll back up all the way into the kidney. And holy smokes, that's not good. So, but, you don't have a swollen prostate because you have a deficiency in a surgical procedure, right? You have a swollen prostate because you're unwittingly eating all the wrong foods, and your prostate has run out of the stuff that it needs to maintain its integrity. So the first, second, and third thing that I would do for 3 months before you have the surgical procedure is completely eliminate the 10 bad foods from your diet. You have to eliminate all 10 bad foods. This is very important because consistent consumption of the wrong food leads to a chronic inflammatory process that's in your body. It's kind of like punching yourself in the arm in the same spot. If you punched yourself in the arm in exactly the same spot 3 times a day, after 3-4 weeks, you'd have a big black and blue mark there, and if you kept punching it in that spot over time, well, that wouldn't be good, would it? Well, that's kind of what's happening to the prostate. So we have to clean the diet up, identify and eliminate the 10 bad foods, and you can get that list for free by going to my website and opting in for my monthly newsletter. So check that out. It's free. Identify and eliminate the 10 bad foods, and feed your body the supplements it needs to support and promote the health of the prostate. So in this case, the recommendation would be 1 anti-aging Healthy Start Pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month, 1 bottle of Prost FX. This is a combination of herbs and nutrients specifically designed to ease the burden to help the prostate. 1 bottle of Prost FX per 100 pounds of bottle a month. 1 bottle of selenium per 50 pounds of body weight a month, and 1 bottle of Z Radical per 50 pounds of body weight per month. Do the Z Radical, the selenium, the Prost FX, the anti-aging Healthy Start Packs appropriate for body weight. Clean your diet up. Suspend surgery for 3 months and see if you can't bounce back, because remember, you can't never unsurgery something, and it's always best to try the nutritional approach before you go under the knife. 866-582-9933, that's the number to call, 866-582-9933. That's toll free, of course, from anywhere in the continental U.S., 866-582-9933. Tonight we're having an Introduction to Longevity webinar that is available to subscribers of my online health recovery program on my website. The Health Recovery Introduction to Longevity webinars are aired every Monday night, more or less, from 8 Central to 9 Central p.m., 8 to 9 p.m. Central Time. And it is a really excellent opportunity, as is this radio show. But the webinar is a little more interactive because we have video and audio, and the members who are listening to the webinar are in a running list right there on the screen, and so you can see who's listening and where they're listening from. We generally have, it's an international event. Last week we had people from Trinidad, we had people from Australia, people from Hawaii. There was one person there, I think, from South Korea, if memory serves correct, and all over the continental United States and all over Canada. It's a lot of fun because for newcomers, if you've been exposed to our message of health recovery through medical nutrition, and you have tried it on for size, and you see, son of a gun, it actually works. It really does what we say that it does, and you're excited about this, and you want to turn your friends and family members onto this, but there's a lot of resistance, right? Because, you're going to talk to somebody in your neighborhood and you're going to say, hey, Harry, you're never going to believe it, but I can help you with your high blood pressure. And Harry's going to look at you like you've got, 3 heads. So who the heck are you? You're not a doctor. Well, the wonderful thing about the webinar is that you can use the webinar as a resource to help enroll people in your family, people in your community, people in your church, people in your life that need this help, but you also know that they don't know what they don't know. And, they're going to trust the expert a lot sooner than they're going to trust you. So the benefit to the live webinars that we do, and we have an introduction to longevity webinar Monday nights, and then we have a health webinar either Wednesday or Thursday night, depending on the month, depending on the week, depending on the schedule. But the introduction to longevity webinar is a brief overview of everything that we talk about on the radio program. It shows the difference between what MDs and naturopathic doctors do. It shows what drugs are good for, what they're really bad for, which is most things, and then it lines up simple healthcare solutions for people with medical nutrition. And it's really great. And one of the benefits, by my way of thinking, is that it lets people see that they're not alone in their need, in their suffering. And it also lets people see that they're not alone in their quest for a solution. Because for goodness sake, if you just call into the radio show, God bless you, number one, and number two, you have no idea what the listening audience is. You don't know if 2 people are listening or 2 million people are listening, right? But if you come to the webinar, you can see for yourself, holy smokes, there's 75 people here. They're from all over the world. Other people have the same questions, the same concerns, the same predicaments, that they're in the same predicament that I am, and it really makes a difference for people in your life. It really helps to push people over the fence, to get them under our side of the pasture, just so they can give what we do a try. And this is all that's required. The only thing that's required here is you try what we do. You find a way to convince people to do what we say to do, and 99 times out of 100, when people do what we tell them to do, they feel better, they get a result, and then life is good. And this is how we're going to change the world, ladies and gentlemen. It is a group effort. It is a grassroots coalition of the informed. So use the webinars to your own advantage. Work outside of your comfort zone, outside of your comfort box. Lend the CDs. Invite people to events. Invite people to webinars. Invite people to the live radio broadcast. Invite people to the podcast. And this is how we're going to change the way that medicine is practiced all around the United States. And quite frankly, I don't really even care about that. All that I care about is helping people feel better, helping people to recover their health, helping people to recover their wealth, 1 person at a time, and then 10 people at a time, and then 100 people at a time, and then 1,000 people at a time, and then 10,000 people at a time, and life is good after that. So join us, ladies and gentlemen. Please visit fireyourmdnow.com and click on the Join Longevity button. It's right there. You can't miss it. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, and I am your steadfast advocate for health. We're going right back to the phones now. Karen is calling in with a question about trigeminal neuralgia. Thanks a lot for the call, Karen. You are live.
Okay. Well, I'm calling for a friend, and she was told that she has trigeminal neuralgia, and at the time she had a herpes on her lip, and then so the doctor wanted to do a CAT scan, and at the time she goes, well, can I wait until my cold sore is gone? And then the neuralgia went away, but now it's come back again. And I was wondering if the longevity has anything that would help her fix it.
Well, yeah, I mean, absolutely, and the MDs don't. And there's a couple things that I want to tell you about that. First of all, when years ago, well, let me just explain it this way. Don't you think it's interesting now that MDs use CT scans for everything? I mean, for goodness sake, you go into the doctor's office, you got a little scratch on your hand, and they're going to order a CT scan. Now, first of all, one CT scan delivers about 500 times the amount of radiation that one chest x-ray does. It is too much radiation. I don't recommend anybody have a CT scan for anything unless you've had a traumatic head injury and they need to check to see whether there's active bleeding in your brain. And quite frankly, I'd have to look it up, but I think that an MRI is better for that. CT scans are used routinely now. Why? Because the CT machine costs millions of dollars. They have the machine. They have to pay for it. And also, doctors are worried about malpractice suits. So, they don't want to miss anything. So for goodness sake, you go in with a mosquito bite and they give you a CT scan. And then they'll give you another CT scan, and then they'll give you another CT scan. It's nonsense. They just want to do this for everything. And it's really the epitome of reductionism, because reductionistic medicine argues that the human body is like a machine, and when you go to the doctor, it's the doctor's job to break the body down into the smallest piece to see what's broken and then give a medicine for that piece. And so that's why they do all of this ridiculous diagnostic discovery, which is way over the top. So, don't have a CT scan unless you've had a traumatic head injury. That is my advice, number one. Number two, trigeminal neuralgia is caused by inflammation to the trigeminal nerve. The trigeminal nerve is one of the cranial nerves, and it comes directly off of the brain and goes to the muscles and the nerves of your face. And in order to get to the muscles and the nerves of your face, it has to go through a little tunnel in the skull. Now, when that tunnel in the skull doesn't have enough raw materials, the walls of the tunnel start to collapse. And I don't know if you're a World War II fan, but I kind of was when I was growing up. And, I watch all these World War II movies, and the Allied guys who are in the Stalag, the German Stalags, they're trying to tunnel out, build a tunnel to sneak out of the concentration camp, right? And they have to support the walls of the tunnel with wood so that it doesn't cave in. Well, when that little tunnel in your skull runs out of minerals, specifically calcium and magnesium and about 27 other minerals, the walls start to collapse. Now, your body is smart. Your body knows that the wall is collapsing, and it knows that if that continues, well, that's not going to be good, because it's going to slice the nerve right into where it's going to completely impair nerve function. So the body will do anything it can to try to shore that tunnel up to keep it from collapsing all the way. Now, it doesn't have enough bone minerals, but it has a lot of connective tissue. So the body will put connective tissue inside the tunnel in order to keep it from collapsing, kind of like little cross members to shore it up. But remember, the tunnel should just be empty. There should just be a little nerve going through there with nothing else. Now there's connective tissue in there, and when the connective tissue rubs up against the nerve, if it's the nerve that goes to if it's the trigeminal nerve, you get trigeminal neuralgia. If it's the nerve that goes to your inner ear, you get vertigo. If it's the nerve that goes to your eardrum, you get ringing in the ears. If it's the nerve that goes to your eye muscle, you get a lazy eye, and so forth and so on. So in the final analysis, this is osteoporosis of the skull, which sounds a lot worse than it is. It just means that the skull bone has run out of the raw materials it needs to maintain its health. Now, the main nutrients necessary here for bone health are minerals. And if somebody is so deficient in minerals that they have trigeminal neuralgia, then 5 will get you 10. They also have other mineral deficiency diseases as well. So you want to look to see if the person suffering from TMJ, trigeminal neuralgia, that's not TMJ, that's different. If the person is suffering from trigeminal neuralgia also has high blood pressure, because that's also a mineral deficiency disease. Look to see if they have type 2 diabetes, because that's also a mineral deficiency disease. Look to see if they have arthritis, because that's also a mineral deficiency disease. For goodness sake, look to see if they have restless legs at night in bed, inability to fall asleep, anxiety and panic attacks, and or frank osteoporosis, because all of those are mineral deficiency diseases, and these illnesses always run in packs. It's rare that somebody, just has trigeminal neuralgia and nothing else. So, in any event, what we do is support and promote the health of the skull bone in this case, and, that's no different than supporting and promoting the health of the knee bone or the shoulder bone or any of the joints in the body. So the recommendation is 1 healthy bone and joint pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month, 1 healthy bone and joint pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month, 1 bottle of selenium per 50 pounds of body weight per month, stopping at 4 bottles. We do 4 bottles max. And then they want to add extra glucogel to their monthly order in order to bring the total number of glucogel to 1 glucogel per 10 pounds of body weight per month. So if they're 150 pounds, they need 15 glucogel a day, right? 150 divided by 10, that's 15 a day. 15 a day times 30 days in a month is 450 capsules. So look to see if the amount of glucogel that's in the healthy bone and joint pack is enough to meet that number. If it's not, you can buy 1 or 2 extra bottles a month. Now, part of the healthy bone and joint pack is this stuff called CM cream, like Charlie Michael. You can put the CM cream liberally on a Q-tip and insert the Q-tip into the ear canal on the side of the face that's suffering from the trigeminal neuralgia, and swathe the inner ear, the ear canal with CM cream. You can also apply the CM cream topically over the jaw and the part of the face that you feel the neurological pain from. Oftentimes the CM cream will cut down the pain kind of externally and topically while we're waiting for the medical nutrition to kick in from the inside. It's a relatively straightforward process. Check it out. Go to fireyourmdnow.com, click on the longevity button, get the supplements, and bring your body back to health. Hey, welcome back. Dr. Peter Glidden here. Welcome to Fire Your MD Now. Longevity Annual Convention coming up May 2nd, May 3rd, and May 4th in Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas, baby. Check it out. If you are not familiar with longevity and you live in Las Vegas and you're tired of being a cocktail waitress, you're tired of working the crap tables, you're tired of your job, then come and join us May 2nd, May 3rd, and May 4th at the Red Rock Casino in Las Vegas. We are going to blow your mind with the business opportunity. For goodness sake, where else? I'm waiting for someone to tell me where else it's possible for someone with a $10 investment to grow a multi-million-dollar business. Where is that possible? That's possible with longevity. There are over 25 people. It's way more than that, I think. I should get that number dialed in. It's way more than 25. There are at least 25 multi-million-dollar earners in longevity, and they did it all by joining for $10. A $10 one-time membership fee, and you can generate a business from home that is in 7 figures. I mean, that beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. Is it easy to do? No. Is it hard to do? No. It's not. It's neither easy nor is it hard to do. It's just like anything else. If you become a student of the business, if you're coachable, if you're willing to learn and apply what you do, if you're willing to, make mistakes and learn from your mistakes and then move forward, well, this is the easiest thing in the world. Do you have to know how to spell vitamin? No. Do you have to memorize biochemical pathways? No. Do you have to be able to pronounce complex medical terms? No. If you can pass the driver's license test, you can be a successful longevity business owner. Because all that's required here is a willingness to help people. That's it. A willingness to help people and a willingness to do some work. You got to hit the ground running. That's why it's called network marketing, right? You got to do a little bit of work. Do you have to do a lot of work? No, you don't. And quite frankly, with a little bit of investment of your time now, you leverage a great deal of time and efforts of other people. Now, if you had the choice to be paid on 100% of your own efforts or 1% of the efforts of 1,000 other people, which would it be? Well, If you do 1% of the efforts of 1,000 other people, that's 1,000%. Or you could do 100% of your own efforts. This is why a networked business is superior to any other type of business structure. Because you get paid on the work of other people. It's as if you own your own company and you have thousands of people working for you without the hassle or the headache of any of the payroll tax, being an employer, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff because people underneath you in the network, they're not your employees. They're members of your downline. And every time they do work, you get paid. And that's a brilliant thing. And from this particular business model, this is a business model. It's no different than any other business model. You want to own a McDonald's franchise? God bless you. That's a business model. You want to have a landscaping business? Go for it. That's a business model. You want to be a bartender and work for Mon Ami Gabi or some other restaurant chain in the United States? Go for it. That's a separate and distinct business model. Well, a networked business, especially with longevity, is a separate and distinct business model. And in this type of business, the more successful people underneath you are, the more successful you are. So it's your job to help people who come in underneath you learn how to do it and succeed. The more they get paid, the more you get paid. And that's a beautiful thing, which, by the way, is exactly the opposite of corporate America. Because if you work for corporate America, what is it? It's your boss's job to pay you as little as possible, right? Because the least amount of money you make, the more money they make. Well, it's exactly the opposite with this type of a job. Folks, this is the 1-2 punch. You don't know what you're missing when it comes to health stuff, and you don't know what you're missing when it comes to wealth stuff. We've got both of those bases covered, so check it out. Go to fireyourmdnow.com. Go there right now. Click on the Join Longevity button, and I look forward to working with you to increase your health and your wealth. Stay tuned. Second part of Fire Your MD coming up after these messages.